The air in the apartment felt wrong, heavy with a silence that pressed against my chest like a bruise. I stood frozen in the doorway, keys still dangling in my hand, as the faint scent of jasmine perfume, not mine, curled into my nostrils. On the coffee table, a wine glass had abandoned, its rim stained with shade of lipstick I didn't own. My heart thudded, a slow, sickening rhythm, as if it already knew what my mind refused to accept. I called out for Elise, my voice cracking like thin ice. No answer. The living room was dim, lit only by the flickering glow of a candle she left burning, its wax pooling like tears on the glass tabletop. Her scarf, the red one I bought her last Christmas, lay crumpled on the couch, tangled with a jacket I didn't recognize, leather, worn, masculine. My stomach churned, a mix of dread and denial, as I stepped closer, the floorboards creaking under my weight like a warning. We'd been married 5 years, Elise and I. 5 years of late-night talks, shared dreams, and promises whispered under starlit skies. But lately, she'd been distant, her smiles fleeting, her eyes darting away when I asked what was wrong. "Just work stress," she'd say, her voice light but brittle, like glass about to shatter. I believed her. I'd wanted to believe her. I moved toward the bedroom, each step heavier than the last, the hallway stretching endlessly before me. The door was ajar, a sliver of lamplight spilling out. I pushed it open, and there she was, sitting on the edge of our bed, her phone clutched tightly in her hands. She startled, her eyes wide, guilty, before she masked it with a smile that didn't reach them. "You're home early," she said, her voice too bright, too forced. "Whose jacket is that?" I asked, my words sharp, cutting to the haze of her perfume. She hesitated, just a fraction too long. "Oh, it's Mark's, from work." He stopped by to drop off some files. Her fingers twitched, betraying her calm facade as she tucked a strand of dark hair behind her ear. "Files," I repeated, my voice flat. I glanced at the bedside table where a second wine glass sat, its contents half drunk, the rim unmarked. My mind raced, piecing together fragments I'd ignored for weeks. Her late nights at the office, the way she'd angle her phone away when texting, the sudden password change she'd brushed off as security. "Yeah," she said, standing now, smoothing her skirt with nervous hands. He didn't stay long, but her eyes flicked to the floor, and I saw it, the glint of a silver cufflink, half hidden under the bed. Not mine. Never mine. The room tilted. My chest tightened, as if the air itself had turned to stone. "Elise," I said, my voice low, trembling with a fury I hadn't known I could feel. "Don't lie to me." She froze, her lips parting, but no words came. The silence was louder than any confession, screaming truths I wasn't ready to hear. I wanted to shake her, to demand answers, but instead I sank onto bed, the cufflink burning a hole in my vision. "How long?" I asked, barely a whisper. Her breath hitched, and when she spoke, her voice was small, fragile. "It's not what you think, David. It's complicated." "Complicated?" I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "Is that what you call it? Sneaking around, leaving us things in our home." My hands clenched, nails biting into my palms. I wanted to hate her, but the love was still there, tangled in the wreckage, making every word ache. She stepped toward me, her hands outstretched, but I flinched away. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said, tears welling in her eyes. "Mark and I, we were just talking at first. He listened when I felt alone. You've been so wrapped up in your work, David. I didn't know how to reach you." Her words landed like a slap, blaming me, as if my late nights at the firm, grinding to build a future for us, had driven her into another man's arms. "So this is my fault?" I spat, standing now, towering over her. "You opened our marriage, Elise. You decided I'm free to do what I want, so you could justify this." Her eyes widened, and for a moment I saw fear flicker across her face. "I didn't say that," she stammered. I needed something you weren't giving me." I turned away, my gaze landing on the cufflink again. It was engraved, a tiny M, glinting mockingly in the lamplight. My mind spiraled. replaying every moment I trusted her, every time I'd ignore the unease gnawing at me, the late-night calls she'd take in the other room, the way she'd laugh too loudly at messages I never saw. I'd rationalize it all because doubting her meant doubting us. But now, the truth was undeniable, a jagged blade tearing through the life we'd built. I wanted to scream, to break something, but instead, I picked up the cufflink, its cold metal biting into my skin. "Get out," I said, my voice steady, though my heart was shattering. "David, please," she whispered, her voice breaking. "We can fix this. I love you." I turned to face her, and the sight of her, tears streaming, her hands trembling, almost broke me. "Almost. You don't get to say that," I said, each word a wound. "Not anymore." She left that night, her suitcase packed in a blur of sobs and apologies I didn't hear. The apartment felt hollow without her, the silence deafening. I sat on the couch, the leather jacket still there, mocking me. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "I'm sorry you had to find out this way. It wasn't meant to hurt you." Mark, the nerve of him. Thinking an apology could erase the betrayal. Days passed in a haze of anger and grief. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, the memory of her perfume lingering like a ghost. But then, something shifted. A cold clarity settled over me, sharper than the pain. If Elise thought she could rewrite our vows, discard me like an afterthought, she was wrong. I wasn't the one who'd break. I found Mark's address through a mutual friend, a casual question masked as curiosity. His apartment was across town, sleek and modern, the kind of place that screamed arrogance. I waited outside one evening, my heart pounding, not with fear, but with purpose. When he stepped out, laughing into his phone, I followed, my step silent, deliberate. It was a revenge in the way people might think. No violence, no confrontation. Instead, I watched, learned his routines, his weaknesses. And when the moment came, I acted. A discreet call to his firm, an anonymous tip about irregularities in his accounts, a whisper to his landlord about late-night disturbances. Small, calculated moves, each one chipping away at the life he thought he'd won. Weeks later, I saw Elise again at a cafe where we used to go. She looked tired, her eyes shadowed, her smile gone. "David," she said, her voice soft, pleading, "can we talk?" I leaned back, the cufflink in my pocket, a cold reminder. "You wanted freedom," I said, my voice calm, almost cruel. "You got it, and so did I." Her face crumpled, but I walked away, the weight of her betrayal lighter now, replaced by something darker, sharper. Revenge wasn't sweet. It was bitter, cold, and final. But as I stepped into the rain-soaked street, I felt alive, untethered, and for the first time in weeks, I smiled.